Okay, so we are live. So thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the next installment of What's Your Story? Checking in with the 3S Award winners. So really quick, this is hosted by the Global Sourcing Council, and we aim to transform the world where business embraces profit with purpose. We're a leading organization focusing on sustainable, socially responsible business practices. We empower organizations and businesses around the globe to operate responsibly, develop innovative solutions, and again, pursue profit with purpose. Every year, we host our annual 3S Awards, and the 3S Awards is a global empowerment platform for small to mid-size business enterprises. We recognize individuals, organizations that have demonstrated exceptional social and economic leadership in innovating, improving, and implementing sustainable and socially responsible sourcing practices. So myself, you can't see me today. We're trying to deal with the connection. So myself, I'm Andrew Budsock. I'm a board member at GSC, and I'm joined by Michael Ibonye, who is of WAVE, and we'll get into who they are in a little bit. But they are the second place 3S Award finalists this year in the Empowerment Awards category. And this recognizes companies addressing empowerment through the fields of education, gender empowerment, infrastructure, inequality, and economic growth. So thank you so much, Michael, for joining us. Today, I'm excited to talk about WAVE.
It's my pleasure to be here.
So first, let's just get right into it. So if you could just tell us, how did WAVE begin? So tell us, so what do you do? What's the story of WAVE? How did it begin?
So we began just a little less than 4 years ago. It will be 4 years. It began in August. And there were like a series of aha moments as, you know, that one of the founders used to work in Lagos State and found it really difficult to find talent for the organization she was working with at the time. And then after a while, went to grad school, and sat in a room with a couple of other West Africans, and they shared their stories, and then it hit them in that moment that they were the counterfactual of the average West African youth. And they started to think about what can we do to expand opportunities for young people like us back at home. And that was how WAVE was born. They sat in the Harvard Innovation Lab for months brainstorming, and they applied to compete in the social venture track of the new venture competition, and they were second place winners and the crowd favorite, and they took the funding they got from that and started WAVE in 2013.
Great. So what does WAVE stand for?
WAVE stands for West Africa Vocational Education. We work to connect young, smart, driven people who don't have the opportunity to access formal employment to jobs.
Sure. So I guess kind of more broadly, describe the problem of youth unemployment in the communities that you work. Like how is this an issue? Like, is there just there's no access to this type of training or in the communities?
I think the youth unemployment problem is one where there is, I think the underlying issue with the youth unemployment problem in West Africa is a mismatch of what the employers are looking for and what the skills that young people have, and how do we make those two things align. So a problem of there being no jobs, and more of a problem of how do I align the skills that I have to for the job available, or how can I use those skills I have to create opportunities for myself and my community. And so that's kind of where we operate in the problem. So, well, these are the skills that I need. And because sometimes employers don't know exactly how to screen for the skills that they need, they use different proxies, like you have to have like a diploma in this or that, you have to have X number of years of work experience. But that's not really what they care about. What they really care about is the skills, but because they don't know how to assess for the skills, they use all these other proxies that sometimes block a lot of people out from the opportunities to apply for those jobs. And so
Sure.
what we do is we we find young people who have the skills that employers are looking for, some of it, at least the raw innate talent. And we take them and train them and polish those skills. Um, and then we match them to employers, and the employers trust us because they are able to tell us, look, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and we
Sure.
help them find that in the people that we send to them.
That's great. So how do you going into finding the talent? How do you find the talent? How do you go into a community? What's your process of entering a community and kind of really reaching out to the unemployed youth essentially and getting them these skills?
So the first thing is we have to find community influencers, people who these young people trust and listen to, because that's one of the biggest challenges that we found when we started, and until some sort of experience that challenge, even though we built some credibility over time, is, there's a bunch of people out there who would tell, if you come to XYZ training for a period of time, I will find you a job.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of young people have been scammed.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there are just, inherent trust issues that I mean, even if you've never done anything wrong to this person, they just don't trust you. And there's a high level of skepticism that what we're saying is true. So what we do, first of all, is to find community influencers, people who are leading at the local government levels or the community development association levels, people who are leading in religious institutions, churches, mosques, people who are leading in other community-based organizations. We use those people as the entry point. When we get those people to believe and trust what we're doing based on our track record, then they give us the access to young people, the inroad. They maybe call a town hall meeting where WAVE can come and speak.
That's great.
That's how we get access to those young people in the community.
So it's about really building that trust and really kind of finessing your way in through the proper channels to get into a community to build that trust.
Exactly.
Great. So I imagine that definitely takes some time and a lot of finessing.
Yes, it does. Relationship building is the key piece in how we reach out to young people. And the interesting thing is we have then, when the young people now trust us and they've seen that we're a credible organization, we've trained them and indeed connected them to jobs, they also then become ambassadors for us in those communities. So when we have to go back to that, can work less let work for us, because now we have ambassadors in those communities and we continue to grow our ambassador network. That relationship building is easier.
That's great. And it also sounds like, you have the long term in mind too, about really building a foundation of trust in the communities, which I think is also really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting into companies. So what kind of, how about companies? How do you partner with companies? What kind of companies do you approach, or what's your kind of your process of working with bring companies into the WAVE network?
We mostly work with small and micro businesses, because everyone wants to work for the big companies that are hiring 1,000 people or 500 people. Sure. But there are, entrepreneurs who are starting out businesses and they're just trying to hire their first maybe 5 employees or first 2 employees. So that's really like the sweet spot of kinds of business that we like to partner with, because these are businesses that are growing stage, and they are the ones who will have more difficulty finding talent, because who wants to work with right?
Sure.
And so that's where we add value to these startup businesses, and we understand that world very well because we're a startup ourselves.
Sure.
So, actually started to build our employer network through personal network. Like we had friends that were starting businesses and would say, hey, if you're looking for a front desk associate or PA or a restaurant and you need a waiter or a housekeeper in a hotel, you get the right person. And we started, with friends and over time,
Mm-hmm.
and show base of employers that we started with value in working with us, started to refer other employers as well. And so that base has now grown to 200 plus employers have been active reaching out to employers. It's mostly been word of mouth from one employer to the next, and that's how we built that pool.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it sounds like relationship building is absolutely key in a lot of what Wave does, which I think is also really great. So moving along, because we have for time to kind of keep it close to what we're aiming for. So if you could share one piece of advice for upcoming social enterprises, what would it be?
Expect a lot of surprises. Expect surprises. I mean, you can come in with like a really solid business plan, and you can have like your break even. I mean, all that stuff on paper always looks. There's a lot of things that you may not have thought that you would have to consider.
Mm-hmm.
That you will definitely find when you go on the ground and start to implement. So I just say keep an open mind and expect a lot of surprises.
Cool. I think that's a good piece of advice. Then what does pursuing profit with purpose mean to you?
For me and for Weibo, it's brings impact. For us, profit is impact. You want to build a profitable business that builds communities, and that's just because not only are you improving lives, but it's how your business sustains.
Mm-hmm.
People can, if people are able to get into the market and stay gainfully employed for a while, that's all around good for the community that you're operating in. It's good for businesses and communities that help build strong communities.
Sure.
So for us, it's impact.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and definitely also hits on the empowerment, which is the award category that you were honored for. So just to bring it full circle. So lastly, we want to know, so what's next for Wave and where can people go to learn more?
So what's next for us is we do what we already do and what we've done for the last 3 years in a more efficient way and a more effective way. How can we help small businesses find the talent that they need in the most efficient way, and how can we help young that they're looking for to climb up that socioeconomic ladder and so we are currently piloting a job matching Tinder for employment. And that's one pathway for us to make that process more efficient. And so that's the future for us. If you want to learn more about us, please visit our website. It's www.waveacademies.org. Academies is plural, so www.waveacademies.org. Send an email to info@waveacademies.org. We want to hear from folks, and we're happy to respond to emails and connect.
So thanks so much for joining us, Michael. So the link for Wave will also be in the video description, so they can go down there and get the link from there. So also really quickly, if anyone is interested in helping organizations like Wave pursue profit with purpose, do good in the world, they can donate to our Entrepreneurs Development Fund. fund at www.gsc3sawards.com/donate. So in addition to your donation, please make sure you see some of the other interviews we've had as part of our What's Your Story series. They're on our YouTube page, and look for more interviews that will be coming your way. So thanks so much again, Michael, and we're really looking forward to seeing what's next for WAVE. So thanks again. Take care.
Thank you, Andrew, and the 3S.
Bye.